Sumo wrestling is kinda dumb. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, that's just who I am. But at its core, sumo wrestling is very silly. It's an open weight combat sport, so athletes eat and work out as much as they can to become as large as they can, with the goal of essentially knocking the other person over while wearing what essentially amounts to a very thick banana hammock. It's just too easy to poke fun at, to the point that it is difficult to take it seriously. But no great anime cares about your preconceptions on a topic, because there are no bad topics, just bad writers. And the writers for Hinomaru Sumo cooked. Presumably a lot, since it's about sumo. Hello, and welcome back to Binging Past Season, where I tell you guys about anime that aired before last season that you might have missed. And I assume you guys missed this one, because I had never heard of it when it popped up in my recommended in Crunchyroll, so I pulled up my anime list to see how people felt about it, and that's new. There are no bad reviews for this show on my anime list, which is new to me, because no matter how well received a show is, no matter how good it is, there is always somebody in the review section that thinks that your favorite anime is dog water, because Demon Slayer didn't have enough basketball in it, but that doesn't exist for this show. And it shocked me, because somebody's always going to try to ruin your day. Hell, half the time, that's me. So for this to have no bad reviews is impressive. That means I went into this show with high expectations, and I'll tell you guys whether or not it met those expectations, but first, we need to talk about body image. You always hear complaints about how anime artists draw women, how Oda has caused generational damage with his depictions of Nami and Robin, but you never hear about the boys. What about the boys? I can't get arms like Frankie, I'm not even a cyborg. And sure, Uglymug Epicfighter has done a lot for representation within the anime fanbase, but for every ugly mug, there's a Hinomaru. Whenever the boys are having their day-to-day interactions, walking around school, they look lean, muscular, thin even. But the moment that they step into the sumo ring with that Mawashi belt, they're thick, they're girthy, they're big fucking boys, they take up the screen. That tells me one of two things, and those things are equally horrifying. The first is that you just draw the boys however you want for the situation that they're in. When they're in the sumo ring, you want them to look big and manly. You want them to exude power for the moment, for that scene. But then the moment they're out of the ring, they're cute, they're just having fun, they're thin little fellas, they're fucking... what the fuck? And that's bad enough, because I can't change my body image to look more powerful when I need it, to look cuter when I want it. I can't change that. I'm stuck the way that I am forever, in a chair, eating fucking Cheez-Its or some shit. But the alternative? The alternative is that no man looks good naked if you get caught at the wrong angle. If you're not posing for every moment that you are shirtless, you look fucking hideous. That sucks. That's never gonna leave my brain. So take a moment when you're drawing your characters for your hit TV anime. Consider the fragile psyches of the boys out there who are going to see you switching between big girthy men and lean cute boys, and just consider, the effect that might have. I'm done with this bit. Let's move on. The reason why I wanted to talk about Hinomaru Sumo so much is because it might be the best sports anime I've ever seen. I don't consider Run with the Wind a sports anime, it's more of a character drama, and it's as good as Kuroko no Basket, just wrapped up in a neat little package of 24 episodes, and no other sports anime I've ever seen comes remotely close. Haikyuu goes on too long with too many highs and lows, and Blue Lock is a dumpster fire now, but it was always kinda stupid. It's too complicated. A sports anime should be about the sport. It should be simple. And in that sense, a simple sport like sumo actually works its magic here. Hinomaru is just a dude with crazy hair that loves sumo. It's what he lives and breathes for, but he is vertically challenged. Up on Tinder, he's 5 foot. He's actually 4'11". He wants to become a professional, but he's limited by the fact that pro sumo wrestling in Japan actually has a height requirement, a rule they changed in 2023, 5 years after this anime came out. See guys, anime can change the world. Colin Kaepernick. That means his only hope to achieve his dream is to become a high school Yokozuna, a title given to exceptional wrestlers at national events that allows them to skip over the eligibility requirements and enter straight into the professional league. And that is such a perfect setup, isn't it? An impossible goal for an electric underdog whose body refuses to let him do the one thing that he loves. Someone get the tissues. I'm gonna cry. The stage is set. The real sumo is the friends we made along the way. Look, you know I don't like spoiling good anime, so I'm going to tell you what made this my favorite sports anime as vaguely as humanly possible. I had no idea what the outcome was going to be the vast majority of the time I was watching this show. Part of that is due to my expectations from other sports anime, where it tends to be more life or death. The main reason is because of the format. It's high school sumo wrestling as a team. That means you need to win best out of 5. That means when they set something up, yeah, they may follow through and the outcome may be what you expected, or it may be completely different and it may completely shock you and you may go, I can't fucking believe that they never did X or Y thing. I can't believe it didn't work out the way I expected to. This happens consistently, and consistently as I was watching this show, I was surprised. There are equal parts impossible success and desperate heartbreak in this show, and you probably won't know when they're coming, but they never rely on bullshit just to keep the protagonists around, to say that, oh, we'll spin it around so that everybody can participate and we can keep on following our hero's journey. Everything happens according to the rules that were laid out at the very beginning. There are no last minute changes. There are no do-overs. And look, I told you at some point I was going to cry, and I did. I'm not going to tell you when it happened, but at some point during these 24 episodes, I cried. And it wasn't like tears welling up in my eyes, like there was a moment of friendship between two characters or a puppy showed up and started wagging its tail. No, I started bawling. The tears were flowing from my eyes and they could not be stopped. This registered on an emotional level. It hit me directly in the soul. It's not just big men. It's big hearts. That's actually a medical condition. They should probably get that checked. The point is, this ticked every box you want from a sports anime. The question is, did I have any complaints? Yes, of course I did. I'm a miserable piece of shit. If you remember, I mentioned the word Yokozuna earlier. It's a title given to legendary sumo wrestlers, those said to be the best of their time, the champions that stand above the rest. And Hinomaru's backstory is that he was an elementary school Yokozuna. And that's my first problem. Who gives a fuck? Why would you? I know sumo wrestling is supposed to be one half ritual and one half combat sport. And if it is a ritual and the title of Yokozuna does matter and it has a certain weight to it, why would you give it to an elementary schooler? Like at most, we're talking like what, 5th grade? Like these kids that are just like 11 years old that are like, I don't know, like half a fucking paperweight, and you're going to give them the title of Yokozuna? It feels like you're not respecting the title enough. I feel like I'm respecting it an appropriate amount by saying, why would you give it to a child? That doesn't make any sense. But my main complaint about the show itself is their naming conventions, because they have finishing moves that have names and they are audible when they are using them. And this can work to sort of point out when somebody's trying to do something big and flashy and it's coming across the screen, the name comes in, it's like Mega Ultimate Punch or whatever. You can't punch in sumo. And when they try to do these finishing moves in certain moments, it can come across really well. Because sometimes it's like, oh, he's going to finish him. And sometimes it's like, oh, is he going to finish him? And sometimes they just keep on yelling out the named move over and over again. And it sort of feels like, yeah, shut up. I'm trying to watch this sumo match and you're just yelling out, Ultimate Punch, Ultimate Punch. It's like, bruh, it just doesn't work sometimes. I gave this one a 9 out of 10. It is very, very good. In my opinion, it is the best sports anime, like a pure sports anime I have ever seen. It is unpredictable. I had no idea what was coming next. You won't either, but you will probably enjoy whatever is coming next. And if you don't fucking complain to me. I'm just a fucking vegetable. Why'd you even watch something I told you to watch? You're weird for that. As a special little treat for those of you who stuck around for the outro, and because I couldn't think of anything else, I'm going to read off some fun facts that I found doing research for this video. If you know anything about sports entertainment wrestling, you probably heard the name Yokozuna and you said, I know that guy, but that's not the only name that we took from sumo for WWE. Rikishi is the title of a wrestler of a certain caliber in sumo wrestling. Side Game Famous Pictures was a producer on this anime, which would be more relevant if I would ever finish my Uma Musume video, but that's besides the point. If you're wondering how the Horse Girl Company ended up producing an anime about sumo wrestling, I have a guess. It may be because sumo wrestlers use ring names, and one of them went by the name Mori Urara after suffering 38 consecutive losses, naming himself after the famous horse Haru Urara, which is relevant to anybody who is fucking brain broken like I am. And while the show uses naming conventions following the national Japanese treasures for the exciting young up-and-comers in the sumo world, I couldn't find anything that tracked with that historically in reality at all. It would be embarrassing to name yourself after a national treasure and then lose, and most people's ring names come from random titles they're given by family members or stablemates, so doesn't seem like it's based in reality. But that tracks, I think. Anime name? Legendary Blade from the Shinto religion. Reality? Some shitty horse.